الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يسأله من في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شأن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان سنفرغ لكم أيها الثقلان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يرسل عليكما شواظ من نار ونحاس فلا تنتصران فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فإذا انشقت السماء فكانت وردة كالدهان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيومئذ لا يسأل عن ذنبه إنس ولا جان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يعرف المجرمون بسيماهم فيؤخذ بالنواصي والأقدام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان هذه جهنم التي يكذب بها المجرمون يطوفون بينها وبين حميم آن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ولمن خاف مقام ربه جنتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ذواتا أفنان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما عينان تجريان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق وجنى الجنتين دان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهن قاصرات الطرف لم يطمثهن إنس قبلهم ولا جان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كأنهن الياقوت والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ومن دونهما جنتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مدهامتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما عينان نضاختان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما فاكهة ونخل ورمان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهن خيرات حسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان حور مقصورات في الخيام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان لم يطمثهن إنس قبلهم ولا جان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على رفرف خضر وعبقري حسان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان تبارك اسم ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to each and every one of you, wherever you may be. This is the For the People by the People program that comes to you every Sunday on both Fat Network and Facebook Live here on live and direct on For the People by the People program Facebook page. We're here, all three of us, and obviously this is a very, very special occasion, different from the ones that we usually hold here. Just as we announced earlier, we are paying tribute to a dear friend, a brother, a comrade, a fighter, a patriot, a nationalist, a lover of country, a good Muslim, a great, wonderful human being, a wonderful husband and father and son, and somebody who cares deeply about humanity, because anybody who stands up for the poor, the destitute, and the downtrodden and the oppressed, that person, obviously, it has to be driven by love of humanity. And I'm sure my colleagues will attest to this. There is no money in fighting for the rights of other people. In fact, you literally live in destitution when you take the route, because you are up against the mighty and powerful. But that's what Panderi chose to do, and that makes him a special human being. So because of that, we are having, like I said, paying a special tribute to him to celebrate his life and legacy, and to really hoping that it will inspire other Gambians and other people in general to also take that route. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes us who we are, human beings. We are not just people for just whatever reason. Otherwise, we would have been animals for that matter. We are people because we are supposed to be these special beings with all our faculties intact, people who will do things based on what's right and what will further the cause of this planet. I think that's something that's really should encourage all of us and should be, I think, a point of reference for each and every one of us to make sure that when we live our lives, we leave a legacy at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, because death is inevitable, that we leave a legacy that people can celebrate, that others can look up to, that children yet unborn can learn a great deal from. This is who Panderi was, and this is who he has always been. So again, because of that, we will talk about him today. We'll discuss his life, we'll discuss his activities, the things that he did, and what makes him so special. So hopefully we will also allow phone calls for people to come and share their special stories, and I'm sure we all do. And I'm sure there are a lot of funny ones, especially the ones that his usual phrases on his radio, far unbalanced and others. We'll discuss all of them. We'll talk about all of them. We're going to make this, obviously it's a serious thing, but we're also going to have the light moments, because that's Pandey Mbai's life right there. There were times when he was so light in the way he approached things that you couldn't help but laugh out so loud when you listen to Pandey on Freedom Radio. Coach and Musa, you all can move ahead. I just thought I'd throw that in there so that the audience know that this is not just our usual political talk, but it's a different occasion.
Well, thank you, Banka, and greetings to all our viewers, listeners, and greetings to everybody. Our condolences to Panderi's family, to the entire nation. Banka, to tell you the truth, he is like, to me, sometimes it feels like, some of those things that are not real, because definitely Pa was not an old man. He was young. I think he was just about 48 years old. Yomisa Yakomak. He's not that old, and he has a young family. Condolences to the wife and the kids. I think the kids' names are Cherno and Awa. And Seinabu, the wife. Our sincere condolences to all of them. It's a big loss for our country, because, like I said, you cannot talk about the Gambia, the politics of the Gambia, at least over the past 25, 27 years, without Panderi's name being mentioned. It doesn't matter whether you love him or you hate him. That is just a refutable fact. You cannot also talk about journalism in the Gambia without his name being mentioned. So he's a man who has left his mark, did his bit, and left a legacy. Maybe as we continue this conversation, we will get into it some more. But I was just thinking and then realizing, you see, most people who are celebrated in history were at some point deemed controversial by the societies that they lived in. nobody would have thought, if you followed American history and read it a great deal, that what's his name, Malcolm X, would have a street in the United States named after him, because they called him all sorts of names. King, the same thing. And all these two have in common with Pa is that they died at very young age, you know. And but then the work that they did definitely spoke for them. It was really nice to see statements from the president of the Gambia, you know, expressing his condolences. I've seen one from Ousseynou Dabo. I also saw today Halifa was having a press conference and then asked for a moment of silence in honor of Panderi and prayers and all that. But you know, it is what it is. But again, to the people on the link, if you're watching, there is we pinned a GoFundMe for people to donate. Those who have donated so far, we really want to thank them so very much, because I think we've already raised over $10,000 within the past 3 days. Just remember that he left a family behind, a young family that would need our support. So I'll just stop there for now and let Musa come in.
Samba, Banka.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, basically you guys have spoken for me since Monday when we learned about passing. I mean, I've been reading Facebook, and Pa is one somebody that I don't think there is any Gambian on earth who doesn't know Panderi Mbai. And that says a lot about the person. I have seen and read all the adjectives, patriot, nationalist. That has a way of bringing all of us. And I think what usually happens, especially in my case, learning of past death, it reminds me of my own mortality. And I asked myself, it could have been me. It could have been anybody. I know for a fact, ne possible pam, affair be better nako. Really. Pa did not think ne, Tina just there just like that. So I have this feeling ne, better nako very, very badly. Pa, we can use all the adjectives in the world. Pa was controversial. Pa was very unconventional. Pa was an enigma. You never know what Pa was going to say. One thing that all of us can agree upon was Pa was hungry for the news. Pa Afiram, yep, it's about the news and the sources. A Kanla interview. That's all Pa cares about. And he does it in a very unconventional way. And I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more about Pa. We're going to celebrate his life. And I'm sure most of us and all the other people that are going to call, they are going to say the same thing, because we know the man. We know who he is. Panderi Mbai Freedom newspaper, Mary Sahamninko. I remember in a friend of mine, Yam New America Fini, Pa Moy won't wait him. All they do is listen to Panderi. Yalanak Moham sometimes limo def. And extend my condolences to Sainabu, to the kids, Yalnako Yala Khare Ajana, and all his relatives in Tuba Murit, in Nyamina. Like he always say, I mean, the guys in Manjai, he has his ways. He definitely does have his ways. Like you said, Pasamba, and some other people said, there's no way you can write the history, especially of the struggle, the removal of Jame. You will see Panderi Mbai all over it.
Of course.
Controversial as he is, call it whatever you want to call it. And sometimes very cruel, vicious. That's him. He has his style. I don't think Freedom newspaper can ever be replaced. Because Panderi was freedom and freedom was Pa. When Pa died, freedom newspaper died with him. That, I believe, is the honest to God truth. Yal na ko yalla xare ajana. Yal na dedi no flyam. Su sedda ci ko am.
I mean, no, I think you both nailed it. I mean, that's Panderi Mbai's life right there. You know, the good thing about him is that he's an open book. I mean, when you discuss Panderi, there is nothing hidden because he let it all out. He put it all out there. It's almost as if this guy all along knew that he will not live long because Panderi had no secrets. He will let it all out. But whatever you see is what you get. But in a very, very raw fashion. I mean, he made sure he did not even mince his words or kind of sugarcoat it. He would tell it. I mean, you know, all of self. That's Panderi Mbai, and that's what made him so authentic. It's the authenticity value of him that made him so special. Because you know, trust me, there were occasions when we'll have something hot, really, really hot. But you know, this one here, Panderi is the only one who will break this one. He is the only one I can give it to because I know he will put it out there. I mean, you know, most newspapers will not even touch it. They will never come anywhere near. And you're sitting there going, you know what? If there's anybody who will put it out there, that's Panderi Mbai, and you will go there. And I'm telling you, I think Coach summed it up when I believe he wrote in one of his things, write-ups that Panderi demystified Jammeh. And I think that's a very, very, I would say, succinct, perfect description of what he did. You know, to take Yahya Jammeh and just kind of break it into his human form. Because Jammeh tried to make himself into this supernatural, whatever he had in mind to make himself into. And he did make some people believe that he had these supernatural powers that he, I mean, I remember when I'm there, when you're Atlanta, I mean, we were talking. How did you figure it out? You know, you did it. It is very plain and simple. Jammeh knows that he's the president. Everybody will be discussing in their homes. What do you expect? I mean, again, it's because Jammeh made himself into this whatever you want to describe him. Somebody with extra whatever. It's ridiculous, but anyway, it's very hard to describe it. Panderi Mbai is the one who took that and meticulously, and I mean, he was also relentless. And I mean, relentless. He took a whack at it. It's like somebody fighting a war. You find this firewall, like the Germans did during World War II. Built this firewall, and then the Allied forces came in there and just kept pummeling until finally the walls started falling down. That was Panderi Mbai. That's what he did. This aura of invincibility and whatever Jammeh tried to, and I still have to describe it, because Jammeh made himself into this, whatever, you know, again, I'm trying to find the right word. It was fire. Who came in there and looked at this thing and he said, you know what, I'm going to take a whack at it. And he was relentless. Every day he was pummeling it, pounding it, until finally he softened the target and everybody realized, wait a minute, yes, we can. And they all joined in the fray. And everybody really had the guts and the audacity to finally go out there and take a whack at guy. Because it was Panderi who said, look, this guy is nobody. And that's how he used to talk to. I mean, he would try to, you know, make Jammeh look so human. Like, look, this guy is nothing but a human being like all of us. He has no powers, he has nothing. And most of us finally looked at Jammeh and said, wait a minute. Yes, he's right. This guy doesn't have no powers. Yes, we can bring him down. And everybody finally had the guts and the audacity to finally confront Jammeh. And all credit to Panderi. Nobody did that but Panderi Mbai. He was the one, he was a revolutionary in that regard. He was a pioneer of that. He started really taking a whack at Jammeh when nobody dare mess with Jammeh. People were scared of him. They even thought he could do some political things to them, even when they are not in the same town or village or country. Panderi was the one with the audacity, the guts, to take Jammeh down to his simplest human form, and finally gave people a chance to see him for what he was. And they decided, you know what, best we can. And they believe it, they jumped in and they fought before the heartbeat. You cannot take that from him. When I really started to really get very, very busy in the struggle, my activities as Musa and Coach, as you know, were mostly relegated to Atlanta and, you know, these things, you make my noise. But it was freedom that gave me personally the platform to really, you know, take my message out there in the real world. It was freedom. I was day in and day out with Panderi, analyzing the situation in Gambia, talking about it. This was how I got, he amplified my message in a way that I could never even have dreamt of. And I'm sure he did it to you all, and to all of us, many of us in the struggle. I would say everyone in the struggle who finally went out there viral or people started knowing a lot about him. It wasn't Coach, as Bello would put it, it wasn't nothing. It was Panderi who really gave us the platform to be able to do that. He amplified the message, but nobody dare mess with that message. So really, we gotta, it's very hard to really even contextualize Panderi's contribution because it was that big, it was that massive, and it was so authentic. What you see, like I said, is what we get. He's a giant, honestly, in his own right.
Yeah, man. What can you say, Panka? I think it's interesting, but I think there was something about Pa, and that is his determination. I remember when Pa just came to the United States, I spoke to him. He had just left the Point newspaper, and then, you know, of course, he was with Observer, and all those people got fired and all that thing. So he came here. Before Pa, you know, we used to have the breaking news used to be Ibrahim Cisse, coach, on Gambia El Gambia Post.
Mhm.
Then Pa came and took it to another level on Gambia Post, and before he went on to work with All Gambian, and later established his own newspaper that is Freedom. I even remember when he was, because then we had this GRTS International, Kadugi. So he called me one day and said, you know, Maggie, Radio, how does it go? Manako, well, I don't have that much idea about it because by Sarah Koledefar also, why I don't think it's so complicated.
No,
But
that
when
was
he-
the Gambia Journal, right? The Gambia Journal?
Gambia
No?
Journal, because then
Yeah,
it was
Gambia
Gambia
Journal
Journal,
was with
yes, and
Mbaisa,
Hello
yeah.
Gambia.
Yes.
Hello
Yes.
Gambia, because then time was the Modi Bowl around them. Then after, when he started, because you know what we used to do, we record our programs
Mhm.
and then they would play it.
Correct.
Pa became the first person to do it live,
Mhm.
because even
Okay.
Hello Gambia, it was recorded, then they would play it. Pa came and would go on the radio. In fact, it was trial and error, and you could tell me he was really struggling as he was doing it. But he became so fixated in it, you know, on that thing to make it work. And then now you're going to have live and direct, where callers would call directly on the show. And there was something else. And you know, we had a problem with it, Saga, you know. But then if you look at it, he was able to give Gambians an outlet to, in fact, just relieve themselves of the anger that they had, you know. Could they, hey, because he used to get excited when everything became
The Marcus
chaotic.
Anaconda.
Pele firi marse sera kunda deglu ngane lan Jallow Canning Lai, of course, Alaji Mustafa Nyufu. It's very sad ne ñom sen day is not that too far, you know, it's very close to each other. Alaji Mustafa Ali Kalaji, and I was having program for Watana Askanwi, you know, and all that. But Pa was just Pa, but the resoluteness of this guy. Here was a guy who was just working as a security guard, RVTH. Went into journalism. No feeling. In fact, question. People used to ridicule him. Bindami, you know. What did he do? He took himself to school, got a degree in journalism, wrote a book. You know, it's like every time people feel our Pa is ready to surpass that. And of course, like you say, Musa, and the news, I've been interviewed 1 million times by Pa. And it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. Sometimes it will be like 6 a.m. in the morning, very early. Maggi, by Ayu Malakai, Manakono, I'm on my way to work. I'm peace, my default VOAY. I'm short interview. Maybe, you know, in 15 minutes when I get there, because everybody knows I take the public transportation anyway. But of course, the VOA interview did not happen, why it would take an hour because he also want a piece of it for freedom too. And what he did was, Pa is not the one that he just answer a question. You know, you don't just answer a question and he's go. There is always a follow-up. And you always have to be very careful because he can get you in serious trouble.
He can.
Yeah, the last I had with him was October 8th, October 4th, double call. And it was about the APRC NPP coalition. It was supposed to be a short one. I think we did it for almost an hour plus and digging into everything, talking about everything, you know. But one thing that he also had was how he protected his sources.
Yes.
And they were numerous. Because everything that was happening in the Gambia, knew. People were feeding him information, but he never revealed a source. Never. He would report whatever it is. It didn't matter who it affected. If it is about Banka Mane, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I would write it. He will write it, yeah. And then of course you will get pissed off. People get pissed off. Sometimes people will call me, if you need, listen. The best way to deal with Pa, if you cannot go and have an interview with him,
exactly,
leave it alone until the next story comes. Because when you go pound for pound, he doesn't care. He can go on and on and on and on and on. Why? If you accord him that he's not only a politician, you call it down. All you need to do is just accord it. He would ask you all the tough questions. You answer it and you are good in his book. And he will tell you, you know, Magji Hamgarek, it's just part of the job. It's nothing personal, you know, Yosma Wainga and all that stuff. And then life continues. But the good thing about it, Banka, and we know what we engaged in was a very difficult fight, a very lonely fight. You put country before self. It was not easy. You were seen as a foolish man. They would peddle all this foolishness about you. You were going against the state. The state would use its agencies against you. Because what happened to Panderi, for example, when they paraded his parents before TV, any one of us, I should not say any one of, but most people, that would have been the end of it. But what it did is it just galvanized him and say, you know what, made him more determined, I'm going to continue this course. It was not easy. It was difficult, and it is sad. He didn't have a chance to visit the Gambia, at least to enjoy the freedom that he fought so hard to help us achieve. Every time I know that he wasn't going to go anytime soon. But it's just you don't know what to say. It's just sad. And to me, Musa, Hamgaman my very day. I don't even give a damn about it that much.
Oh, I do.
Why Pa get me thinking about it? I'm like, you know what, man, this can happen. You can just drop dead anytime. But again, he's left a legacy. Being a Hamnani is worth celebrating and will be celebrated forever.
Samba, one thing, let's look at Pa very closely. Like most of us, Pa came from really very, very humble beginning. Most Gambians don't even know where Tuba Murid is. Heck, I didn't even know where Tuba Murid is. I know it's around Nyamina Dankunku. That's where Pa came from, extremely poor. Pa did not even have access to good education at all. Pa went to Kauru school, ended up in Pakalinding Junior Secondary. Pa did not go to Marina or anything like that. He didn't have it like that. Pa did not go to even Gambia High or Nusrat or any of that. Pa was not supposed to be what he became. No. He never had that access. Banka, you told me when he finished Pakalinding, he ended up, Pasamba, you just said it, security guard at the RVTH. He was never supposed to make it. He fought against all odds. We're going to see a lot of good things about him, and we're going to see a lot of bad things about him to celebrate Pa. If we really, and I'm sure he wouldn't have it any other way. Like you all insinuated, sometimes he personalized things. Pa was a news chaser, source, that's all he cares about. Pa was never an activist. You can say today he will go against Doi, tomorrow he goes against NPP, will go against UDP. Like Pa Samba said, all you need to do is give this guy an interview. That's all he cares about, to make himself relevant. You go after him, he takes it personal. Let's go back to what he became. Can you imagine a security guard at the RVTH? All of a sudden, he got into journalism. D.A. Jao, I think, talked about it. I used to be a freelance. He would put together, to go to D.A. Jaos and some of these guys, and they would edit it for him. This is the same guy who became a prolific writer. He would take a story in 5 minutes, I would pour it down 2-3 pages. We all used to laugh at him, his enunciation, past, sometimes writing styles, grammatical errors, you name it. I remember when Freedom Force came, Pa Batambisa, and you all know this guy is shy. The only time that I ever saw Pa was at the rally conference.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was there except him. Pa came in the evening with CDC, and he was supposed to be on the podium, Banka, if you remember. Right. But Yanga Honkochur, nervous as hell. He went up there and all he did was ramble, totally different from this other person. Pa was an enigma behind the Freedom mic. He's a totally different person. That's why people used to say, hey, part of our Dajo, part of our Pon, part of our Defli. Because people couldn't just grasp how somebody, that's who powers. Security guard, journalist, and then became the guy, the person behind the struggle, Banka. Yeah. Can you imagine the journey that this guy has traveled? He beat all odds. There is a reason why most of the Gambians that, mostly these semesters found themselves in Germany, in Holland, in Italy, why they relate to Pa so much. They'll tell you, no, Pa, you already have a what bigger. He was their guy. We all talk about his sources. Pa went to his grave with his sources. That's why people did not mind giving him information during the time of Jammeh, when it was most dangerous for anybody to do that. They would call Pa and they will give him the info. If you have a problem with your wife and you don't know how to deal with it, who are you gonna call? Nderi. If you have a problem with your boss, you're working at the Gambia Ports Authority, you know there's something that you don't like, who are you gonna call? Nderi. They're not gonna call Fatu Kamara or Kir Fatu, or they're not gonna call Bankamane. Power did not have boundaries. Let's call it for what it is. Yeah. He did not have any boundaries whatsoever. All he cares about is the news and freedom. And he was very, very protective of freedom. We also saw how Ali Kalaji was there. Honest Gambia, Sehu Sedili at one time was there. Pa would never allow anybody. You will work with him, but there is always a distance. The Freedom newspaper was Panderi, and he did not trust anyone except himself. Pa was just something else. And like you all echoed, he talks about the guys in E Junction, Manjai Kunda, Meantelen, Fidu Marse Sandaga. He was just that kind of person.
Yeah. And he loved it. He loved it. He loved
every bit of it. And we all witness the controversies. I don't know a whole lot about journalism, but to say even Pa was a journalist, it's something else. The guy was so unconventional. We all get mad at him and we call him man Ken Duma control. Ken Duma control. He would come there, he would go after anybody. Pa Ken la ragalu. You can have PhD and Pa would interview you definitely in his terms. And that is how the guy he's a self-made man. And again, like we all said, I can be very vicious, huh? Really. He can be. All he cares about is the news. Breaking the news. Lurek la pafale. I mean, conveniently, he would put ethics aside. You know, I mean, yes, he would protect his sources. He would never reveal it, no matter what. He would take a little story and make a whole lot out of it. He's a prolific writer. I mean, he would just take a breaking news. When there is, I mean, all the newspapers were kind of scrambling for news, Pa is going to make something out of it. Here's something from Atlanta, Pa would call you. Man, they're going to send Atlanta. I mean, that's all the guy does. I mean, it is just, and I'm sure these elections, Pa wouldn't even believe it. And that in itself is really sad. I don't know whether you guys talked about a little bit about this Alaji Sanyang who also passed away.
Yeah, Alaji, that's another big loss.
That is, Banker, that one is huge. I mean, when yesterday we had an event and I came late last night. When I saw it on Kirfatu, I mean, it just broke my heart. Yeah. The guy was, I mean, here, Ajera, I mean, Alaji Sanyang, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about Pat. It's Pat's day today. But Alaji also, I'm extending my deepest condolences to his family. I mean, the guy has done a lot for the Atlanta community and Ajera Banker, especially. I remember, I mean, going all the way back to 2000. I mean, we were looking for sponsors in the Gambia. Universal Properties under Alaji has done a lot for Ajera. I'm telling you. I mean, he's been here several times, July 4th. I mean, Brother Habib just mentioned it, one of the pieces that he wrote. I mean, when we used to have those packages, this gold package, the platinum package, Universal Properties, and then of course, Saul Fraser. I think they used to work together. Then Saul became global, then Momunioneka Universal Properties. He has done a lot for the Atlanta community. And like you said, in the Gambia as well. When you talk about building this nexus, Alaji contributed immensely to that, really. I mean, a very nice guy. And I extend condolences to his family. Yal nako yalla xare aljana mom tam affaire yi mom do xam sax bro.
No, don't have.
It just makes you wonder.
I happen to know Alaji too, like even on a personal level. Remember when I came here the last time, to the Gambia last time, the day I went to meet Honorable Dabo Senu, I drove with Alaji.
I think you told me that story. Yeah.
Yes, I drove with him. He's a wonderful soul. And I mean, a perfect gentleman too. The kind of guy that you will love to hang out with. You will love to hang out with Alaji. Because, he's very unassuming, very nice, very gentle, very easygoing, very polite, very nice. I mean, he's just a perfect gentleman. That's how he was. Honest as whatever. That's why even Universal Properties, if you notice, you've never heard of a controversy about Universal Properties.
No.
But Alaji, when you deal with Alaji, he will treat you just the way you need to be treated. He was just one of the most honest guys you can find on earth. So really, and in these communities here, Alaji did a lot because quite a few of them I was aware of. Where he put his money where his mouth was. He was helping communities with projects here and there. I mean, he was a very generous guy, but he was not a media guy. You will not see him in the media giving interviews or doing this, doing that. Alaji was more of a kind thing because he was such so easy going. It's not even funny. I guess even limelight, he's not crazy about it. So all the things that he was doing, he probably was also not, he deliberately did not want people to know about them. But I'm telling you, if you are looking for a kind soul, a good, perfect gentleman, a wonderful human being, Alhaji is it right there. He fits all the bills. Seriously. For me personally, I'm really grateful to him because you know, he's given me immense amount of respect, and it's unbelievable. And you know, Moakini Al Ayad too are very close. Boy Yayara, they are very close. Yes. So and I think for him, he saw Atlanta. He always saw Atlanta as a home. He even when on those trips when he came, if you even notice how he was interacting with the people. He wasn't coming there as this or that, or he came in there as a family member, and he treated himself as such. He was. So that's why even yourself, you kind of have that bond with him without really being so close, because that's how he was. But anyway, our condolences obviously go to him, his family, and the community of Gunjur. He's from Gunjur. And yeah, the UDP also. He was a very big time supporter of the UDP. And to the party also. And to the rest of the Gambia, because somebody who has done so much for country. Kokosu, just like Panderi, if a person leaves us here, I think that's not just for his family, but for the rest of the country. I think his departure will be felt also, just like Panderi's, because these are the local champions. Yes, they are not in the diaspora doing this or doing that, and they are not in the media or in the limelight. But behind the scenes, they are doing so much. So honestly, for me, yes, I am grateful to Alhaji also for his friendship and for being who he was, really. Part of it when you join, I think
you guys are right about Alhaji Musa, because Alhaji used to also sponsor ALD too. And I was really shocked when I saw that this morning, because I saw this morning when I woke up, because Alhaji was one of those people, and he was very quiet too, because they could very well. In fact, he talks so softly sometimes. You know, you have to. I've dealt with him a few times during that ALD period, but it is also another big loss. And he is a guy, like you say, Banka, a local champion. He is a guy who went and built a business and employed Gambia. You know, so it is really sad, and you can tell me he is really important to the UDP, because the UDP decided to cancel all their rally today in Gunjur, few days before elections. Just
a lot of money
yeah. So definitely to Alhaji, our condolences to his family and to the whole nation, because definitely this is a big loss. These are people putting food on people's tables. You know, a lot of people in that country by appointing people, because if you hire one person in the Gambia, you're feeding at least 5 other people. You know, and of course, giving people in the diaspora the opportunity to at least be able to buy a property in the Gambia and deal with a company that can be trusted, because that is also huge. Definitely, it's just horrible. Where to start and where to end with these things. It's just horrible. Why, Alhaji? That's a huge loss. I just could not believe it. I'm like, this is just nonsense. It doesn't make sense at all. I understand he died from a car accident. Because I spoke this morning, I just spoke to him last week, if you call, because he wanted me to. There was something that he wanted from Samate and was supposed to call him back. And Samate woke up to the news that this guy is dead. But we all need to enjoy your life. And then, also understand, I don't know, see, all this Ngaro, Guinea, hate, and it doesn't mean anything, because, you can just drop dead tomorrow, but, it's crazy, Dal. Yeah.
Yeah. Fatu, are you ready to join us?
Eli, I'm here. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Yeah, I don't have my picture on because I'm on the road, but I just arrived home. Yeah, you guys were talking about Alhaji. I actually met him, I think once. I went to his office to talk to him about a sponsorship deal, which we didn't end up doing. But he's a great guy, like you all said, and I had so many good things about him. I was with Haruna Drame not long ago, and Haruna was telling me how he helped a lot of people in Sukuta and Gunjur area. And he's good friend with Haruna's brother, Jane. He was just telling me now that he is in his late 30s. He's not even 40, you know, it's
Wow.
really sad. Yes, he's in his late 30s. He's same age with Haruna's brother, Jane. You know, very
Wow.
sad indeed. I saw the news too this morning. I got up and it was all over Facebook. So sad, but then and you are talking about Panderimbai too, my friend. He's the one who will say all kind of stuff to me and turn around and say, Suma sistala, Suma
Yep.
sistala.
Right.
And then, yes, and then I will call him. I'll be very mad with him. Yo Panderimbai man, linga def ni nekuma. You're sitting here talking about me, no, Suma sister, bulmerek. And when you talk to him on the phone, that is completely so different from Panderimbai on air.
Yeah.
So I did not hear from him for a while, and I didn't see his stories up. I think when I was coming back here last month, that was when he called me actually, because I was also not on Facebook a lot. So he called me and said, hey, yangi no bude fani ne kulo di update. Fani dama hawa such masona mane hara manopaleku. So you know, we talked about Gambia, we talked about stuff, and then we both laughed. So Manyo, I saw that he's not been updating since the 12th. So I sent him a text message. On that same day, I sent him a message. Now, my brother, I hope you're okay. You know, I've not seen updates from you for a bit. It was just 2 hours after Lolo that I got news that he passed. Why even Bobo, before that message, the previous message that we shared, message Hulola, because he was on the radio again. Mumayu yakaluneka, mabinda komana ko sa kolbi jogatina de, sa kolbi jogatina. Mobile message. He would not even respond. He would not say anything. You know, and when I came to join the struggle, I came to the US in 2013 in October. So I spoke to him about us doing a program. I think you all know that he was supposed to interview me about, you know, Suma detention and all of that. So we did an interview and then we talked and I said, maybe we should do a show together. That was how the Leral show came. And I gave that name, Manako Nenko today Leral, because Leral would be a good name. Munamadigala, we started. But then the reason what inspired the Fatu Network, the Fatu Radio, Freedom Radio inspired Fatu Radio, because he was doing a great job. You know, time over, if you talk about struggle, it was Ziljo who was doing everything possible to get Ablai Wada out. And Panderi was also doing everything to get Jammeh out. So it was the two of them. And there's this other radio, Hamanda I'm going to be in fighting and in struggle again Hamon radio. It's a radio that Panderi started at, another online radio.
Modibo. Hello Gambia. No, hello Gambia.
Gambia. Senegalese
radio.
Exactly. That was Panderi Liga enough. He worked there. So Nyonyu, Freedom.
That was Hello Gambia. Hello Gambia.
No,
Utena Hello Gambia. Utena. Hello Gambia was Haidara. Hello Gambia was
Baba Haidara.
Baba Haidara. No.
The Hello Gambia later.
Hello Dakar.
Hello Dakar. That's the one.
Because popular Hello Gambia concept begin it out.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I think yeah, go ahead.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yes, so Fofula, it was because of Freedom Radio. Alo Dakar Bobo Axil Job. I also decided Manemantam I want to have my own radio. So we all remember when the Fatu Radio came, how it was difficult, you know, Manak Mom and all of that. But at the end of it all, you know, I can talk to him. You know, the only time we argue is when he's on air. But when we talk on the phone, it's like this is not par. And swing cousin Nunya Nyep Flavor Banyas Mungesei, Muna Masabinana ko Banyas sent him an invite. Yaguni Muna about pa did not respond. Manko invite Pumunyo Hawaii Sitakabi. Why can Deguko? Nekete, you know, he was not feeling well. It's really sad why Pa actually was Pa. He's different from every other journalist in Gambia. Pa can go on air and talk about anybody he wants to talk about. Do whole sabot, do whole langay wah, do whole langay mer. He did a great job. It's just unfortunate, like somebody said, before you know how Gambians love you, die. That's unfortunate. I only wish all these good things that everybody is saying about him, that some of these things he hear when he was here. But unfortunately, Lolu was not possible, but his family definitely should be proud of him. He did a great job. Merlona Nini, that is a fact. But also he did an excellent job, at least in ousting Jammeh. Because all these things, muy TRRC material be, muy jonglasi, all of that started at Freedom Radio. And nobody can take that away from him. So mom definitely ñu ñaanal ko rek. Yes, yalla xare ko àjjana.
That's true. We have Tukulor C also has called, and we can let her come. But Fatu, you are right. TRRC, most of us, the reason why most of the proceedings at the TRRC did not sound like news to us is because, they were already said on Freedom newspaper, Freedom Radio. So by law, reveal a lot of some of the jungle activities. We can go through the list of all the invitees who used to divulge a lot of these activities of Gambia's horrible behaviors back in the Gambia. But no, PA was TRRC before TRRC. But anyway, Tukulo.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Tukulor.
How are you?
Right now we have 578 people watching. Every single one of us, let them share GoFundMe. Why not just sharing? I don't know if you guys listened to Panderi. The first show he did, in February on the last time. The first show he did, Munyoduga Sisera Jombi. Thank you, you don't have fundraising for him. Mune yen ham den man bugo ma alali Gambia bugo ma alali Jambo because I don't want to be bought. Muna why like Tukulor and Alaji li ma wax rek moy ne man momo ma sama baba Gambia bi ñoma mom motax ma bay len ngeen defal ma fundraising bi kon nak comme mom ci bopam mo ubi gemi ñam wax lolu bes bobu tay ñu ngi ni ci place bo xamne alhamdulillah there are many Gambians watching. Every single one of us munta donate sax share GoFundMe bi sa wol bi tax keneen gis ko donate ko. Because Panderi buying a job like Coach said. Then $5, $10, $2, let that be Panderi center from Gambian. Because in one way or another, Panderi has touched lives. They so say come you could go here. So he said you Panderi why not one of the stories I'm gonna tell because I know that there's a part where you praise and then there's the part where you bring up the old memories. Panderi bimma dege Patu Network rek Panderi do. Panderi ñetti fan mama lingeer Panderi amenyu suma biir bi di daw Patu ne ma hey mu ne ma gis nga yow soo toogee fi ngay wone ki dang ko ragal ci la laajte mu ne ma da nga ñemeñ bena suba may liggéey rek ma call Patu ma ne ko Patu pare na so Patu indi ma si rajo bi there was a whole show Tukulor C speaks to Panderi or something like that. To men that are bullying or something, I can't remember. But Maduga, when Papa yo minga gis ni, yo sa naka papa bay, bajar naka onkulam, moy say ak sama yaay, joge ker gatat, fofu la stade wut ba, ma delu mané ko pa, Gambia el time fofu nonu. So la gaay lifi non suñ nagé né man ma dé xex ma delu la because I was one of the list managers. So coach, if you remember bima génné ci rajo bi yow sax kon nga ne ma waaw xam nga Panderi ndeysaan ma génn ci rajo bi rek Panderi tamit pindamal bi ma sister I'm sorry gis nga depuis bés boobu ca la paane ka suma càmmi benn bés tamit mu amee ma ci rajo bi ma dugg rek mu ne ma sister I'm just pulling your leg lii dinaa ko edit and he edited what he was saying from the thing nit ñi dañoo ñëw ci rajo bi door di ma xas mu ne no if anything he was fighting for me. So I think there are sides of Panderi tamit loo xam ne dina xeex ak yow waaye soo demee ak moom to a certain point you become his friend. Yeah, dégg la de am na ñu bari ñu xeexal waaye again nañ seet the good work he did to demystify Jammeh because nit ñi liñ dul laal Panderi moo ko dee laal nit ñi liñ ñeme ci wax Panderi moo ko dee wax tey maa ngi toog fii sama cousin bi mu ngi bina bii ne crooks yi ma ne loolu dëgg la because a lot of the crooks in Gambia tey Panderi moo dee toog mu lakkateen téere yëpp toog so ñooñu tey there needs to be somebody to do what Panderi was doing to make sure that corruption is exposed in the Gambia. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Jërëjëf. Yeah, well, like to
There's a
say,
downside.
yeah, pull
I was
donations.
thinking,
Go ahead, Musa.
I was just thinking, I mean, you would think an institution like Freedom.
Almost sa volume bi, I don't know. Si man lang sa volume bi is too low.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ñu ngi laa dégg léegi.
No, man, li ma doon wax mooy ne, we all know ne, when we heard of a past passing, we're like, that's it. That's the end of Freedom Radio and Freedom newspaper. And most likely, that may be the end. But then the question is,
Yeah, hold on.
should Freedom
Hold on.
newspaper?
No, Father must go ahead. If I'm call hold on.
Like, should Freedom newspaper die with power?
It's a
Should the entity, and if that were to happen, because again, it has to be, Freedom newspaper has to be like Panderi. You cannot come and modify it or change it. Panderi. And if there is one person that I think could even attempt to do that, would be CD Cisse. CD has worked with power. CD knows power very, very well. They had their issues, but I just believe that Freedom newspapers should not really die with power. And Banka, I don't know whether you were able to, because remember I was saying that maybe we need to play some of his interviews. I remember when Pa interviewed, the Vice President, Aissatou Njie Seydi. Oh my God. This was when Pa was at its best. I mean, you're talking about, oh my God, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that interview just not only exposed the VP, but exposed the APRC. I mean, I remember my brother that passed away, ABM. We never be like Kimo Duff. Kimo Duff was referring to Aissatou Njie Seydi. We couldn't believe me with some of the things that she was saying. But that's Pa right there, the journalist. I mean, he has without a doubt, he has his journalistic instincts. And at the same time, like we all say, he was very unconventional. I mean, there is no story that Pa wouldn't touch. Legi story has no journalistic value. You know, family related. Pa would be all over it. Just go figure. But Banka, like I said, maybe through the program, if we can play some of his interviews. And
well, I will search and see whether we can get them on.
What's his name was saying? I think Fatu was someone SoundCloud.
They're on SoundCloud.
Yeah, I'll go to SoundCloud and check. There is a caller.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Back in the struggle days, I used to say people's numbers based on their, what do you call it, number getter. You know, they are these names that they create for themselves. And the economist, our economist, sorry. Do you guys remember our economist?
I don't remember the name, but I don't know who it was.
Like I say, who said it?
No.
It was
Gambia Honest.
Was the
Honest
Honest
Gambian.
Banka after Koku Gena, our economist Gena, Namugi Facebook legi with his real name.
My mama called me and I saved his number as our economist and he just followed us out. So our economist. Yes. You mean?
Yeah, I'm going to contribute, right? Because
so why not contribute our economist? Do you want to tell our listeners what your real name is?
AJ Korea. Yeah.
OJ.
AJ.
AJ. He's on Facebook
He
now.
came out a long time ago from California, working for Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, AJ. Okay, AJ. I'm glad you actually happened. I never knew. I didn't ask. I didn't know who you were. I just saved your number as our economist. I remember we used to communicate a lot, so I just saved it as our economist.
Everyone of us out there, definitely, because you know I've been working with Pa even after the struggle, you know. So it was kind of like really sad story. But I don't think Pa was just chasing news. Simon conversation, I think there were instances where people would call him with personal stuff, and he would refuse to publish it. You know. there are instances you have this news. Sometimes if it's not very, shown the news is accurate, he might refuse to publish it. I'm the incident, he actually even called me because I'm gonna like to check what's trending on the social media. Put this like what they are talking about. If it's something that people are actually discussing online or not, like Sabali when you call it was like at 4 a.m. California time. And Sabali, they're gonna anything regarding Sabali. That no harama check. When I checked, I found that there was one of his family members actually was contacting his brother I think the guy lives in New York, and she was selling him a Sabali Dangote, and I actually told him, like I only saw one thread, regarding Sabali, but this is like it sounds like a credible family member, Sabali, more mentioned Lenny. So I don't know how true it is. And then on top of that, I also helped him with his monetizing, his freedom newspaper. Very Hamun, Bandari was actually content. He was earning money, So he wasn't interested in, people's possession like Nikomne Alice or living. Every time to I don't want to be bought because Gambian teaching not they feel like they own you. So I don't even like talking online, but I just felt like I don't think we understood, how much boundaries should actually be celebrated and how much it meant for Gambians in general. Boundaries save no lives, although some people would obviously have to be like the pond. Some people would have to be the fish, some people would have to be, the tigers. Because you're soy jobini. You don't discriminate, you don't select. It's like soy bomb P52, you just basically cap it bomb. That's how I look at because I'm on one structure, I'm on one address within, organization, I'm on leadership. Struggle was just struggle, right? As I was saying, over accusation, young like definitely. Nobody knew, nobody knew about integrity, as a family, So he stood out, he came out, even when he was a month, I never even knew about he had kids. Tomorrow he has a family. He's never told me he had a wife.
No.
I continued talking. I think the last time he called me, it was like a few months ago. But when I was actually driving with somebody, because I never knew that the guy even was a social media guy. But I've been more happened every day. I'm allowed to go to the I studied the headphone to one thing with and this is a prominent guy in Gambia who's like, really, I'm getting good freedom. And the guy said, yeah. So there's nobody that you're living in public with creative. But I'm telling you, out of 100% in Gambia, I'll say maybe 80. I don't know, outside Gambia. Why 80 have money, 80% also. Common business figures, you did live in freedom, So it's not like Pandari was just a nobody or Pandari was just this little guy or this foolish guy. They call like your flowers. I mean, and I always tell him, what you meant for Gambia? I think one day maybe a statue or something. I'm a President Mohammed, definitely. The kind of President Mohammed, Pandari should be celebrated because I don't think we'll ever have another Pandari. In our lifetime, he's a funny character. You have to be different personalities. But Gambians, you cannot just be one personality, not deal with Gambians as a whole. Sometimes you have to be foolish to attract some people. Sometimes you have to be serious to attract some people. You know, you just have to get the right timing and the right crowd. So you just have to behave accordingly. But not like say, if you want to maneuver in Gambia, that's the only way I think. And Panderi knew how to, to play the game. He did it well. With all the controversies and everything, we have to give him his flowers. He was really, the Gambian hero. Mom like this thing. Struggle with out on it. I don't make even take So I just want to say definitely, 19 million contributed. Let's help kids, help his wife, because I think he deserves every single penny that we can, offer him. Even though Halish was not, what motivated him to do all this, but that's the little we can actually use to say thank you. And just, give him a very easy resting place for him. Definitely. One day, we can celebrate at a better different. As for someone, I think we should do something for him, to be honest.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Banka, and I wanted to say something. How many yen? Nda musingen ko gis xam ngeen ne man musuma gis Panderi lu xew mooy billahi so dama ko laaj ma ne ko pa yow xanaa suma ñëwee North Carolina because I've actually been to Raleigh a few times so saa yu may ñëw Raleigh mu ne ma xoolal fii on soo ñëwee dañoo lakka yàpp ñu grill ma ne ko mu ne waaw suma egsee Raleigh rek suma ko ne léegi check-in naa maa ngi suma hotel ma wax kañ laay ñëw mu ne ma dama tukki dama am lu urgent léegi nii dama war a tukki wala beneen time suma àggee Raleigh rek ma xool ko du jël suma ñëwee dama tukki woon waaw soo léegi ma laaj ko ma ne ko pa yow man musuma laa gis mu ne ma xoole mu ne ma danga ma fàtte rek mu ne ma Sikiri Fafa Mbay time boobu sax ñu mag ñëpp a ngi faa ñëw mu ne ma maa doon sol carax yi ma ne ko déedéet ma ne ko man ba tey mënuma laa fàttale ko ci loolu musuma ko gis yéen a ñëw affaire freedom day man ak moom we talked about that time yu bari daf ma dee wax ne ma yow sa radio bi danga ko dee bàyyi ñëpp am sa password mu ne ma you shouldn't do that yow xam nga Gambie ni nuñ mel danga téye sa password yëpp yow kenn so moom all along moom he would not share comme léelu de comme lay xam nga tamit nit ki des na li nga dunda xam nga am na yenn yu nga dunda sin suñ nit ñi ba nga xam ne danga xaw a ragal nga foog ne déedéet man fii la suma yaakaar nekk duma ko share waaye boy bi defar website am bi is still here kooku moo defar website am bi moo defar suñ bos moo defar léegi standard moo defaral point moo defaral foroya the guy is here so mun na moo access site bi waaye comme li Musa wax kan mooy mun a def liggéey bi comme moom ni mu ko doon defee loolu moo dut mun a am
du yomba de because I was just
he was a very
different animal really.
No, but he was very paranoid too.
He was very paranoid.
Yes, Pa was extremely paranoid. He was afraid of what people will do to him. He was scared of Gambians in general. He didn't trust anybody. He just felt like, especially at some point, he started to feel like Jammeh was literally, he thought everybody was going after him and that anybody could get him anything. So he was always very, 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 very careful with how he dealt with people in terms of, even with telephone calls, Pa would watch what he would say. He would watch, he would listen for any abnormalities in the conversation, whether something is sounding behind this, he was very, very paranoid in many, many ways. So I could see him protect his passwords and everything and make sure that nobody, and I mean nobody on the face of the planet, know what they were.
But I mean, so, fighting Jammeh, I mean, one could really understand and the way Pa was going about it. Now, all of us were fighting Jammeh, but not Pa. Pa was a totally different level. For somebody like that, going after a dictator, and clearly Jammeh was trying to get rid of Pa. It was just a question of the timing and how to go about it. Yeah. So paranoid, heck, Pa would be paranoid. He was very, very paranoid. Whenever he talks to you, Pa is thinking a Yanko record. That is why he was very careful what he says and how he says it. He did not really trust anyone. Now,
but you didn't even expect him to trust anyone because of, like you said, this is a guy, look at what they did. In fact, when they went and hacked his website and then went after people who were supposed Nakalatuda, what do they call them? informers.
Informers.
Anybody, in fact, government, look at
informed.
even Fatu's case when Fatu was arrested. What did they accuse her of doing? Giving information to FAR, because that's what they did. The state used anybody that they wanted to go after, they would accuse you of giving information to Pandiri. But like when you're fighting, sometimes paranoia comes in. You have to be. Well, to me, there are so many people in Yohamne, they cannot tell you where I live. But I also avoid Fanano, them, Lano, Wahana, all these things, because at the end of the day, you are fighting a system. They would use anything that they can against you to destroy you. So you have to be also protective of your surroundings. And I think rightly so. And like he was saying to Fatu, so website, because freedom, what would have been greater for Jammeh than to have access to Freedom newspaper, the whole Freedom newspaper, Sibopam. And like he said, who can you trust? Because sometimes you would trust them and then give them the information about the paper or whatever, and they would use it against you. We've seen that how Gambians can go after you for no reason. Smallest problem being an Amrek, the first thing that we do is what they will bring out. We don't fight.
Yes.
You know, and if one thing credit I would give him, like AJ Wafini, nobody man dora ham turi Jabari Panderi when Panderi died.
Yes.
And the name of his kids. I didn't know. Even his birthday. Momo Sonambi, they had the same birthday. Why he would not even tell you the exact day of the birthday all that stuff. So but you have to be very, very, very careful, because you know what we were fighting. When you're in it, you don't even appreciate it. But it was an extraordinary struggle. Like you say, Banka, you remember when they attacked Fatu at Bunyu Atage here Adams? We were sitting there, and the Secret Service agent told us, you know what? Are you guys ever not worried this guy could hire somebody to come here and try to kill you? That's what he said. The Secret Service agent, he said that to us where we were sitting talking to him.
Right.
That was his concern. So when they go and see it like that, because Jammeh had one thing and one thing only, power. And anybody who wanted to deny him that, he would do whatever it is to take him out. So, and we passed, I don't blame him, definitely. Why? Freedom of they have to, CD this, and I feel so sorry for CD. Do you know the CD that they called me almost 10 times in less than half an hour? Just never, no. Do you think that this is true?
Yes.
CD, it is true.
CD
Yeah,
because when I first heard it, and I think I spoke to you, Musa, because funnily, Sisuba, I was talking to somebody, and you were pandering you. When you were pandering, you will see for this many days or almost a week or two. You know, when I send say 3 times why tontuma, manako pandering election, you will see Rajabi. Manako then something is not right. Then I'm the one on the Coco Cola and was crying. Never ko degangalu hell, Manako what? Mono Biripa. Monaco, no, what's going on? Mono bon harma by Monaco did by Kaidomako, you tell me what's going on when I'm a part of a real. Monaco, that's impossible. So I spoke to you, sir. Let me call Fatu. When I call Fatu, I'm going to see programs because I could hear the noise, why I didn't want to say anything. Until after Buma quality, we talked about it. Of course, when I called Fatu almost an hour later, she was still sitting in her car. Then CD kept on calling me and asking, is it really? CD, I spoke to CD that day almost 5 to 6 times within less than half an hour.
But probably when I'm not going to because just boom happening. One of my friends, I don't want to reveal his name, but I guess you know the other day with the guy we are talking to on the phone. Coco is very close to Pa and the family. Mama call, I mean, hey, I'm not sure they why we can. I was really, I mean, shaking at that point because I was laying on the bed and I just it felt like at first, like, no, this cannot be. And then it dawned on me that because the story that the way he narrated to me, I knew it was true. And I was shaking like crazy, saying to myself, wow, this cannot be. I mean, just the thought of Panderi being dead at this age, right now, at this moment, I just didn't. I guess I didn't want to accept it. But you are right. It was very hard to believe, and up to this point, I think it's very, very hard to believe the idea that they will have a Gambian political conversation and Panderi's voice would not be there. Hey,
it's going to be a voice.
Give me a caller. A caller?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sorry, go. I'll be Palakumo Kandempa. Is it Palakumo for the Fujian Nation in this happened, I know. Alga the city of the for Tim and England after Muta, rather to England, Alcala Paranoid was start of that day. From the city of Malabu, Abstiroka, city attack. The city attack is who Padara Lusudo.
Ah.
Listen.
Definitely.
When after we were
yeah. Very passionate.
Yes.
But you know, no, but just telling you, piggybacking on your story. Recently, when when this my working with Sanomajila came up, it was what became possible. And the man calls me. He wanted to ask me that whole thing, and he wanted to write a story. All of a sudden, Mo called because he knew that we hadn't spoken for a while. So he didn't want to just call me and ask me directly, hey, are you working for this company and what is it about? Yes, you called me this one day. You called the evidence. Yes, ma. Munama, so nakamna. Kala ko bayi cool. So I just wanna beg you for the boy.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean for la negatipa? What are you getting at? And I know that's why you are calling me like right now because the Lord no, boy. The one don't call it you like nothing. No. Ulutanga call me exactly. Give me your reason. No. I mean, you think this new company. So what is it about?
Listen.
Now you're coming. You want to get the low down, right?
See, Tuli and Weekend, they've done getting a doma minak because legi mu call ma mu si grocery store. Why for now? You know, mem si store bisa. Do they them si African store because banya mu dem for muta sek hamka because came very rare ngata sek pa. Legi so igena. They've done them si Chinese store. Legi le Muhammad mune ma chernola andal doma bugor bi chernola to the kujigen ki moy awa.
I had
Wow.
very close.
No,
I think that's the 14-year-old.
Fumu dem mune ma chernola andal. So go defé ñi wax manako ana awana fana awa mo wara nek ak suma tak bi morom cherno mom mo suma Omar ñoo wara nek morom way mom du xale yi
Awa is in college now.
Wow, awa mom legi wa mu ngi college so dafa and ak ñom su xale waré def sen assignment nga America parents yeb luñ dé dem through nga dem ci store bi dem wara jënda dina and ak ñom so mom store bi la daan dem jëndi gas legi ak tamit restaurant he likes to eat out def daan gëna mu dem te yeb nak Tayem na kompana fana ñom Musa ndawal. Nimbuga ndawal.
Yàpp rek la bëggoon. Bilaay.
Ndari Bay, ndeysaan. Wow, dañ tegi ndawal moom de baax na loolu noonu. Guy, no, Pa moom ndeysaan. I was Sidi Cisse is listening. I've sent him a message to call in.
Yeah.
You know, so
Somebody was calling me from a Gambian number. Let's see whether that's him.
it could be him because I told him to call in.
So, caller will let him. Nobody can able to. Let's see the finance.
Yeah, listen, it's sad, but you know, listen, I don't know that.
Coach, how many
Yeah.
violent man mangi prepare dama wara am show si kanam ak Dr. Cisse ak Said Mati Jaw dañoo bëgg a wax si affaire yi pause yooyu noonu wax interview ñooñu, then after we talk about other things si campaign bi so si politics bi si dëkk bi waaye dañoo bàyyi yéen su ngeen paree la ñoo door ñun.
Next day by this time we're talking about the president-elect. You know, whoever is going to be, you know.
Yeah,
City. Yeah, okay, City is on.
Okay,
Good, how are you?
thank you.
Okay, Patrick. Yeah, that's good. So, glad that you called to talk to Panderi is a special friend of yours. I think you were closest to him more than any one of us, really. You know, you guys worked together for many years. There were times I was so pissed when Pa would you know, especially when he had, we all had issues with him and he had issues with us. The president of president says, Sidi, why the hell would you allow Panderi to run all over you like this?
Yeah, I know.
Sidi was so patient with Panderi. He was the only one
Who can do?
You know, just run for everybody else all around.
Yes.
He would take it. But anyway, I think you are the most patient guy in the world, Sidi. So, but anyway.
Thank you, Banka, and thank you guys, Mr. Jang, Coach Samba, and you very self. Though I'm not a social media animal, I'm not on social media, but like Coach always say, Nebulo social media, why then I'm saying agents? Why those agents remain? You know, once you start, you know, talking about anything on social media and it's of interest to City, someone will drop it to me.
Yeah.
So I tell those people, you know, keep it up for continuing that loyalty. On that. On a serious note, Banka, Panderi is more than a friend. He's a brother. Me and Panderi is way back in the Gambia. We may not agree on a lot of other things, but again, he's a guy who definitely I can go without and he can go without me. It's like Muno Sola, Panderi. So definitely, I am very sad that I lost a brother and a friend. I wish that this never happened at this time of Panderi's life. But I pray for peace. I hope you guys are getting me. Are you getting me, man?
Yeah, a lot of noise over there, but we can hear you.
Yeah,
It's a background noise.
I think that. Yeah.
Just raise your voice a little bit. Just raise your.
May he so rest in peace. Panderi is a very, very good friend, a brother. Absolutely. I can't find words to describe Panderi Baka. And for me, I've seen a brother who has done so much for the Gambia and for the Gambian effort. He had sleepless nights to hunt everything that of importance as far as, you know, Gambia's government is concerned, to bring that leadership down. Definitely. He did so much for this work. And I have to thank everybody, all the Gambians, because I have made to understand lots of people, you know, have contributed by one way or the other in terms of prayers, in terms of their GoFund and all that. Definitely, we are very happy. And also in the Gambia here, we did our bit with the family, and we continue to pray for him. Definitely, and the government too as well. I've offered to do everything, you know, as if the family decided to bring the body to the Gambia. Definitely, I think Panderi made us proud, and we are proud to be associated with Panderi, and we keep him in our prayers. Coach Masamba, Professor Jeng, and Banka.
Yeah. Well, CD, thank you very, very much. And like we discussed, I think it would be proper to have something in the Gambia, maybe sometime in December or January, in the memory of Panderi, because at the end of the day, he is worth celebrating, and we must do that. At least memorialize him in the country. But we'll continue to work on that, and then also definitely to thank people like Nyom Omar Ba, Yero Jallo. Yero, a lot of people did not hear from for a very, very long time. Yero,
Long time, yeah, Yero, yeah.
And Omar Ba, Demba Balde, they all flew,
to North Carolina,
a very short notice to go to North Carolina to attend the funeral. And it is just, but life moment, no, right? Definitely.
City.
Like we did earlier. That's something that we will work with you and with you guys and with all the Gambians to have a memorial for Panderi. But for me, Banka, Musa, and my task today is to make sure that freedom doesn't die, and the freedom radio doesn't die with Panderi. And we will do everything possible to bring that back. At this time, it's quite early for us to engage the family, but talks are on from my end and to some members of the family. Locally here, not family in the US. See how best and what can we do to make sure that freedom lives beyond, Panderi. Absolutely, and definitely. Me, I will use every cent of my money to see that freedom live, for many, 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 many years, and we will go and live freedom. Freedom here. I think that's the biggest thing that we can do collectively, to do whatever we can and keep this, platform. We have been here for Voice of the Voiceless, and like Panderi always said, fair and balanced.
Fair and balanced. Balance.
And yes, and that fair and balanced was go. And we must celebrate it. And I think this is the beauty of life. Every human being must ask yourself, what's your worth coming to this earth?
Correct.
We have to ask ourselves that. Because today, the work that Panderi have done, he will always be remembered for the work that he has done. And it should be a challenge to each and every one of us to do something that you will remember for. This Gambia that I'm living today, it's for us as Gambia to do the best we can to put this Gambia forward, to fly the flags of this Gambia forward. And that is very important. We must not just sit in our comfort zone and think, because I'm comfortable and everything is okay. No. You are comfortable, but there are others out there that needs your time, that needs your energy, that needs your knowledge. Let's put it out, educate. Let's put it out to give information that is accurate and will help the citizens of this country. Gambia needs to be far from here. So it is time that we challenge ourselves to bring a Gambia that we can all be proud of. After 56 years of independence, I think it's important that we do that. And I'm sure with the likes of you guys, the bankers, the Musas, the coach assemblers, not that because I want to phone with you guys, but you've never relent. You are always going, forward. A change of government happened. That did not stop you for the people, by the people. So I don't have much time to follow it because I'm not a social media animal. But here and there, I get some audios that people are sharing in this country. And that is very important. And guys, keep it up. We are also here doing our bit. If you guys are there, we do our bit here. We'll move this country forward. We must not sit in our comfort zone and thinking everything.
City.
Yes.
Musa Jeng here. Just before you came on, I did kind of talk a little bit about how to keep Freedom newspaper alive. And I kind of mentioned your name because you were somebody that I could think of for whatever reason. Like Banka said, we all used to say, City de man Panderi. Panderi is all over him. Somehow, Panderi trusted you. What kind of a relationship did you guys have? Because definitely, Panderi, you either dance to his tune or you are out of there. But somehow you managed to work with him. How did you do it?
Like I said, my relationship with our back in the Gambia. I used to remember when I was on Radio 1 FM, Panderi was at Daily Observer. This guy would not take his transport to go home, but would take a taxi to come to Radio 1 FM and wait for me to finish work, and we walked home. when he was staying at Latikuna, Manjai, I would finish off from Radio 1, and me and Pander would take the Latikuna Jama Road to his house, then I would proceed. That was a daily routine for us. So our relationship is beyond just friends. We all believe in something, and that is justice and voice for the voice, fair and blunt. And we all believe that. We believe that. I remember when he was fired from the Daily Observer, I had the opportunity to have him on the Sunday News or Radio 1 to talk about it. It didn't go down well in those days, because we knew what was happening at the Observer. But we put our neck on the line to have boundaries to discuss at the time. And I think that becomes more of a bond between me and Pa. Of course, I believe when you're working with somebody, you may have your difference, but you must find the moment when you need to talk about that. If I fall out with Banka today, I'm not going to sit all over the place and say, the Banka this, Banka that. No. And I'm not going to address Banka in public. I have my moments where I'll sit with Pa and then we'll address those issues. Sometimes we'll disagree, but I know the objective that Pa has is the same objective I have. And objective is to see a Gambia that we can all come back and participate our quota in this one. That is his objective. He may have his differences with people here and there, but the objective is he's using the platform to unravel the cage of Yaya Jam, and that's what I believe. And that's the one. You must have something in common. Whether it's a relationship or it's a friendship or whatever, even in family level, you will fall out with your family. But like I always say in this, you never throw the bath water with the baby. You may not agree with Pandering, but look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we want a free Gambia, and that's what we did together with all of us. And that is what I'm passionate about. And as I speak to you right now, that is my passion. And I'm, taking this upon myself. We'll do everything we can to keep Freedom News and Freedom Radio alive. He trusted me because I was one person that I will never go behind his badge and say what he confided to me, because what he was doing is quite sensitive. He was dealing with information. He was dealing with people who are bringing stories to him. We are all dealing with those. So we have to be very, very careful. Because we are dealing with a dictator who is sitting in the Gambia. Little mistake will cost somebody's life. So we have to do everything we can to protect our sources. And I think that is very important.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Whatever it takes, because Freedom newspaper shouldn't just die with the proprietor, Panderimbai. And I think a lot of people out there would definitely, because I was just talking to Pa Samba was it a couple of weeks ago? I'm like, man, Freedom because of the way his radio is. Man, he should come to Facebook. I mean, try to kind of take it a little bit further. I mean, I'm sure it gonna expand. He would never come on Facebook. And I'm like, but that's
just the other day I was talking to somebody here in the Gambia about that, and he mentioned that. He said, could it be also that Pa saw himself as not somebody who's going to live very, very long? I said, why? He said, look at Pa's life. He said, even when people were graduating to Facebook and other things, I just stuck to the old format. He's not a radio thingy. He just never changed to anything. He just kept it to that, whatever it was.
Exactly.
Yeah. He said, but, I mean, when he could, because he's literally on Facebook.
Yes, he could have transitioned.
Yeah, he said he could do Facebook Live. He could even open a radio station in Gambia. He could do so many different things to expand his empire. He said, no, but he kept it to this newspaper and this radio, a format that most people even probably walked away from. They don't necessarily. He said, but he never relented. That's all he did until the day he died. From the first day when he started with, and that's what.
Quickly, just to add on to that.
Yes.
I mean, Pa was on transition. Now, many of you may not know this.
Yeah.
Pa was on transition. When the change happened, Pa had to build a new house in his home, in Manjai, prepare everything, and his intention was to come back to the Gambia and have Freedom Newspaper and Freedom Radio in the Gambia. In fact, the registered radio in the Gambia. I remember until on the 4th of November, me and Panderi were talking. in terms of getting the Nawek, because we worked on the water supply was fitted in. We're getting the Nawek meter for that building. So Panderi, actually was in transition. I had no doubt in my mind, if everything went as planned, Panderi would be in Gambia after the New Year's and doing what he loved most in the Gambia. So just for you to be aware that, that transition was in play, and he was definitely working so hard. He had spent so much money to build that house in Manjai, and the house was just done, definitely. And he did so much to make sure that he would come home to a comfortable home and to do his job comfortably, definitely.
So during
better more.
Makes sense, yeah.
Well, he was on transition.
Yeah, but Sidi, like you said, I think, and as everybody suggested, keeping Freedom Radio alive. I think you should definitely. I'm sure the wife would love to see that happen. So I'm sure when you have that conversation with her, they'll all really be willing to support you in any way they can. Make sure you are able to do that, and to even expand it, like you said. This was the intent on his part, was to bring it to the Gambia and even expand it and do bigger things with it. Hopefully, you can be able to make that dream of his come to fruition. Because really, as Father Mo said, and I think Port even alluded to, Freedom Radio must not die. This is an institution that has done so much for the country. It would be a shame, really. It would be sad to see it die with Panderi. To be kept alive.
Freedom will not die.
Absolutely.
Definitely will not die. I continue to work with Panderi until his last breath. And I think the biggest thing I can do for the legacy of Panderi and to do everything possible to have Freedom Radio and Freedom newspaper on the new stand. That's the best we can do. And that's a challenge not only to me, but all of you guys. When you talk about the big memorial to Panderi, probably when the memorial is done, we will unveil the new Freedom page.
Right. So, Sidi, Alaji So is also calling, so I'm going to have to probably drop the line.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sidi. Good to hear your voice.
Yes, that's what. For Coach Pasamba and Musa Jai, you've been away for some time. I'm telling you, the plazas and the super kanjas here are very powerful.
You know what? I'll be seeing you pretty soon.
And for Musa Jai quickly. Kebi Salo Mumfire.
Sidi, don't tell them anything. Just leave these two alone. They don't know what is the secret behind them. Don't devote stuff.
We're talking about Panderi. I was gonna pick your brain for the next week elections. At this time, we will be announcing the results. So Mangi Bugona Large City, Manoko, how are things looking on the ground?
I mean, very normal. Very normal. I mean, Gambians have, a large percentage of Gambians have already made their mind up who they're going to vote for. We don't have pollsters in the Gambia, but it looks like everybody is very confident that they're going to pull it.
Who do you think is going to win it?
What's your take? You're hiding behind everybody. What is Sidi's take?
Right now, you know what?
Advantage who?
I don't want to send some people panicking.
No, what I mean is, it's not like who you want to win. That's not the question. The question is, advantage who? Who do you think is going to win?
I'm sure you've seen what's going on but the politics in the Gambia is concerned. For the first time, we have seen something that matters in the Gambia today is money as far as politics is concerned. The mobilization, here is huge. It's really huge. Political parties are spending millions of billions of dollars. So we may end up with a president who spends the biggest money. So that is going to be my take.
You're not answering my question because we have no clue the president that spent the most money. All we are seeing is, let's say yesterday, I saw these I saw this big crowd in Brikama, and I'm like, oh my Lord. And then I turn around and saw another big crowd in Sanyang. So we're confused. We're from afar. I mean, again,
Yeah, but I'm saying the one who will cast the biggest check is going to win.
So who is cashing the biggest check?
Banka, you are here, I'm here. You know who is casting the biggest check.
Well, I'm not. There is one who has access to state resources there. So
Anyway,
yeah.
All I can say is like money is going to be the winner this time round.
Money talks.
Money talks.
All right.
Our politics have taken it 360 degrees.
Absolutely.
There's very little
One thing I like though, CD, seeing politics, I think the animosity that you see online is not manifested on the ground, even though political leaders sometimes they go after each other, because we've seen instances where UDP trucks are giving lifts to NPP supporters and vice versa. We've seen come Deba, let's say when Doi was in Birkama and they met with the UDP crowd, the UDP crowd came and joined them. In fact, they walked with them up to, I think, few blocks before they went back to their rally. And it was like IAG, Yinan, system change and all that stuff. And I hope that when all is done, that we'll go back to, that's why I like ST's video. I don't know whether you've seen it. You should have played that, Banka, where he has an umbrella with all the 6 political candidates and their colors. Pretty much, echoing this thing that, Gambia is one umbrella. We are all underneath the umbrella. It doesn't matter what party that you support and all that. But it's interesting, Dal. Hopefully, next Sunday.
No, it is interesting. Yeah. And the Facebook and all the animosity in the Facebook, we don't feel that here, my brother.
You don't see it. I mean, on the ground, I don't see people really yelling at each other, even insulting each other on the ground. All of that is Facebook stuff. Yeah.
Those people who, if they are following your Body People by the People program, and I'm here on the ground, I'm telling them, hey, sort of. We are very peaceful here. We are enjoying everything. We had Bahal yesterday with some UDP folks, we folks with some NPP folks. We don't have time for. Gambia is a very close-knit family.
Yes.
So that is it. At the end of the day, come on Saturday, 11 p.m. We'll even know who the winners are because spot count. Simple, straightforward.
Yeah.
So I tell you what.
Sidi, I know last elections you knew who the winner was way before we knew it because you were in the bushes and Haj Matala. And Manglo, I remember making fun of you with Panderi. We were wondering, Langalode be Haji Matala, Fanga Dugon be Haji Matala. But this time you don't have to get in any bush or hide from any dogs. Or
no. You see, that's why it is important for us to revisit history. The 2017 angry folks sitting on Facebook, going after people, they don't have a clue what people fought for. 2nd December 2016, when no telephone was here, we were with a satellite phone in the bush. But the results, we had related to the rest of the world. We did everything to bring this change. And we are not blowing our trumpet. Why they were a Yamati? I'm not doing Gambian, you are coming to Banka, Pasamba, Busaji, Panderi, Canada. These are 2016 folks, 17 folks who sit there and want to, call people names. We don't have time for them. This Gambia belongs to each and every one of us, and we'll do our best to develop this country, whether they like it or they don't like it. Period.
So this talk, just to close, this talk about, there could be a possibility of violence. What say you to that? You think it's all talk?
No, there's not going to be a violence here because the victory margin is going to be huge that you'll have no violence.
Sidi.
Okay, Sidi.
Don't go here talking about banker stock there. Please.
I think Sidi might actually have the same opinion that I have. It's possible.
No. I don't see that happen.
So you think it's going to be a landslide?
Okay.
Well, I want to meet Besi Panderi. Sidi, I will let you.
Why? Besi Panderi, Besi Leral. I'm going to he was on his radio. He was on
what you can do, Banka, what you can do, you can call, you can add Alaji to the call. It's WhatsApp. You know how to do that?
No, I know how to do that, but I don't. Well, okay, Sidi, hold on.
I'm coming up. What I'm saying is quickly. You know, timis jot na ñun dañoo julli timis ñun dañoo julli timis ñun am
Hey, Sidi. You know what? The Banjul fever is really in. Definitely. Chay ñun.
Mane, this is 2019 when Macky Sall was fighting with his team. I'm not trying to relate this to Barrow or what is happening here. Many people never thought in their right mind there will not be a second round of voting in Senegal. Right, Pasamba?
Yes.
Yeah, but it happens. But defeated from the first go. I'm not saying Barrow is going to do that, but I'm telling you, whatever is going to happen here, the margin is going to be huge. No one is going to dispute the election.
Let's see that. Let's what?
Anyway, Sidi, thank you very much. I'll show you something now. Haji.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Sidi, Bala Sidi did them.
Alaji, he may have dropped.
Sidi fana la.
Alaji, no.
Well, yeah, it has been a while. Unfortunately, you gave Wahad again because we lost somebody.
Yes, I know.
Somebody who we can relate to in so many different ways. I don't have much to say because affaire pandiri comme lu ñoo wax rek mën nañoo toog fii bi élect di wax affaire man suma boppa you know I mean maa ngi dégg Fatou Alia mu ngi école musu ko gis in person. I never met Pandit.
Oh, you never did either?
No, I did not. Amul loo xam ne try ma ko say ba dee dem Gambia waxtaan naa moom ma neexal ko nañ ànda ma ne ko there's a lot of people suma ay jarbaat ay suma family members across the lands from Dakar so many people ñoo xam ne Pandit fàttali in so many different ways. Ma ne ko you need to come home. You need to come home. Amul lu ñu try but unfortunately nii la demee. And
supposed to happen.
It's a very sad one, you know, and we can all relate to him in so many different ways. I work with him, bring it down. I remember Padri made away, who the hell?
Bilay mo fajar. Ano ko bilay mo fajar?
Who the hell are you to Alaji Puwa Manakalai Depe?
Listen.
And I ended up apologizing mom because the guy is very consistent in the model. He didn't love him. While later, I did not go Buguma, and I go back. I hate to sit here talking about money, but money is important in everything that we do because
that's
if you're not talking, then you'll pay impact. And you cannot. The man made impact in so many different ways. But he left a young family behind. He died. He died very young. Yeah, I am Sigambia. Many of us, we went back how many times? When the first thing you kind of more is just get back to Gambia. At least I did not. So see here he can be people. Certain people, they are just so comfortable. She said officially, she said air conditioning and she paid at this expensive and this flamboyant lifestyle. People pay the price for this. People like Panderi have sacrificed everything else that you can imagine.
Definitely.
Are going on vacation when we talk today. People get up this when we talk today. I mean, the lifestyle that we live is not balanced, and ultimately, man, I can say, he paid a price. He paid the ultimate price, just like the soldiers Muhammad said about in the name of Gandhi. You can easily say that because the lifestyle Muhammad of Rafameti. I mean, you do that, you die.
That is true.
You know. Oh yeah, without a doubt. So man, I get it. Mange emphasize the go for I can go on and tell you so many stories, man. How man and I sit here and I ask myself, how was Pi able to do this? Because how many people was he dealing with? Nakanamuna allocated time. Even man, you know, I am sorry. How did you survive on the pandemic? Man mangini during the struggle, man, I was not even in the struggle that long. My family paid a price. How did you survive all this? Can you take us the background, Mr. Affair? Can you take us to a background?
Nope.
I mean,
So hey Gambia dafa métti, just to put it in a nutshell. You fa nekk be the politicians ñoo xam ne ñu ngi with the quest pour take over the kabi opposition be the very person ñoo xam ne ñu fa rek, they should be reminding themselves every day that people pay the ultimate price pour take over dem si kanam. It should be a reminder. Even Friday there is another reminder. But Marina Glen Santa, for people to come out, you testify, and lead a Friday there, be it agreeing mom, agreeing mom. This is because the guy was relevant. Never ordinary person, he made a difference in so many different ways. So Marina Glen, why Mangi emphasize go for maybe Mungi on be it $5, $10, so community share, the Nenko buy open until the 5th of December is after the elections, and the Nenko wrap up, we will dispose it. You said, at least family, Yayam, or even the legacy, and I'm glad this is Mr. Frank Panche. You want to sustain legacy with the Freedom Radio, which is going to be very difficult in my own view. Power was freedom and freedom was power. The Lenelli Majanga is a very rule summit, put a institution. Very fortunate as people. Lumun did a this, and when we die, we go with it. Lul Tamitin Kora like this in Boba. In Lulmota, Padu Kamara, Mangede Kamungewa, a very past, everything is just different. I look at the part of the review. She will be traveling, but institution Bagedo. Lulu Tamil Warning Koneka, the Kosora, the civil order. But my Nigerian plans are taking it by my banker.
Call ma.
Alaji.
To all the people that are listening, and thank you so much, man. I am really saddened. Why not? More than but we have to continue to celebrate the brother.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you,
so
brother.
very much.
Definitely. You are a good friend.
It's sad. Well, Pa did his bit, and he would definitely be celebrated.
Yeah.
Because definitely what he has done.
I remember. But let me say this, Palama again. When the last time in February, I had to put up a big fight for mom for money. For Nyumuna, you come together. It was a big fight. So Manda and I had an incident there. Mukolma, he was the first Hamanakala Malijan. Mukola, Mahango, Muko Amutupa Lilo. Mune Dafma Lila. Malakopa. I remember when we get a fundraising when you were what you said. Mure, Munama Alajuta Momulo Sabopa, Suptukuro City said that. Part of it is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like funny boom favor, they did him a call. I'm Luma try to find out, and I got touch with the family. Why part told them that this time don't allow anybody for more. So we take okay, well definitely let's give you the space. I rule out for money for some favor if I you too big to hide. No. I get Nakal Trasa, coach Musa Jeng and Bankamare for the great work that you're doing. I'm just reminded today, the family you see there also.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, it looks like your phone is blowing up.
Yeah, be like, why? This is the last call it has to be because we have to get out of here now.
Well, don't forget to before we end to play the ads.
The ads, yes. So Demba pare rek muna ñu play ads.
Yeah, Demba, okay.
Demba, how are you, my brother?
We are not hearing Demba.
Yeah, can you hear? No, yeah, Demba. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Father.
Okay, very good. Yeah. How are you, Demba?
I'm all right, Banker. I'm all right. How are you guys?
You're doing well.
That's correct. Yeah, I've been listening to the show. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for all you do. I just wanted to call in real quick also just to pay my tribute to and especially to the family. Been listening all morning to all the people calling in and paying their respect. I'm so glad this call earlier. I didn't listen to that, but I hope we had talked about the fundraising and that you guys are talking about as well. I had the privilege of really flying to Raleigh and attending Pa's farewell. It was a very, very emotional moment, for all of us, I'm sure. There is nothing that we can say, enough about Pandiri and the kind of battle that he fought. He fought a very lonely battle, but he died as a hero. As he used to say, this was a jihad. He was fighting a jihad. You guys all know single-handedly, took on the state. And, the whole state, and, it wasn't only Jame, it was the whole state machinery and the whole country for that matter, because this system is not an individual leadership system problem. This system is a country system problem. People who were helping Jame destroy our country. And by single-handedly brought that state to its knees. You recanted all the stories, the interviews with the VP, the anonymous interview, obviously caller, right? Were terrified to pick up their phone because they were scared that they would be online. They would be hard. They would be hard talking. They were terrified. And yes, Pa disagreed with a lot of people. Yes, he fought with a lot of people. But that was the nature of his job. He believed in what he was doing. And Banka, Doku Kumsa, unless you go and see the kind of modest life that Pa lived. He lived a modest life that 99.9% of today's generation would not be able to live. And the credit. Now that Pa is gone, may his soul rest in peace. We need to focus on his family, his young children, and his wife. I talk about this all the time. These women are the silent heroes. His wife, for every interview that Pa had made, his wife have heard about it. All the insults that he went through, all the insults that she went through, she has heard about it. Yan Hamgan, during the time when the struggle was really at its peak, it was survival of the fittest. Yon Sun Jabari, our wives are really the heroes. They're the silent heroes. I want people to focus on for one last time. He speak over 2,000 people used to listen to him. For one last chance, pay tribute to him and his family by donating and saying thank you for fighting for country. Thank you for fighting for whatever you believe. And when we were fighting, and some people used to tease me to say I was compromising. When you fight in this battle, you don't see anything along the way. Anybody who is out to obstruct you along the way, you can elbow them out. The fight was a dirty fight. And people gave up their life for it. And Pa ultimately gave up his life for it. So the Mabuga Gambians, you pay, a tribute, really, to Pandiri by not talking good thing about him only, but also contributing to the
I like how you say Pandiri by.
That's him. That's how he says it himself. Yes. This is Pandiri by. News, and in-depth analysis. Yeah.
No, he was an incredible human being. He believed in it. And in today's generation of materials, wall of materials and all the kind of stuff, many people are not going to be able to manage on struggle. You remember the early part of the Halifa Salahs, the Syria Jaras, the people that were calling, soil, just focusing on what they believe in. This is the kind of battle that Pa lived. And when I got the news, I pondered it for a moment. I talked to Hero. I'm like, we need to fly this place because we know Pa fought a long battle, but we also know what his final departure is going to be a lot for us as well. So let's go over there and then go. It's 9 hours away from Seattle, but it was all worth it because he gave it all for country. We need to remember the fundamentals why he was fighting. First of all, he believed in his, I didn't have a weapon or any information. That's all he had, information. He was walking behind. But still people are terrified of him. Yes, along the way, a lot of people think, they were hard up for the country. But he was hard too. His family was down the bounty on his head. The bounty on his family. You see, he was able to successfully deal his family. Once in a while, our spouses get pulled into this. And these are innocent people, our children. God's son buried him. Think about it. 14 years old, 15 years old. If you see where they are lowering this giant human being, this icon into the grave, you would be humble.
Remember. Yeah, this line. But guys, okay, let's go ahead and play the ad and then grab it because we got to get out of here. We are gone beyond the time now.
But just to remind our viewers, of course, we're going to be here next Saturday, inshallah, God willing, and to talk about the election results. And we will be joining Fatou Camara in the Gambia to basically give our little analysis and call the results. So we hope all of you are going to join us here because Hamgarek, the way we do it, and we're going to do it again, God willing. And then, of course, I don't know whether Sunday after the election 5th, we will also come and talk about we will be here.
I don't know, that depends on Saturday. Because Saturday, if everything is settled on Saturday, I don't know whether we will be able to come back here on Sunday again. So maybe we need to just play that one by the ear and replace Sunday with Saturday. Now, if things are not settled on Saturday, then obviously Sunday would be ideal to come back and, that's the way I'm thinking. What do you guys think?
What do you mean by if things are not settled?
No, if there is no clear picture on Saturday and the counting or whatever is going on till Sunday, then we can come back.
Okay, I hear you. Like Saturday
if on Saturday night everything is settled, the winner is done. I mean, to come back here on Sunday again, Saturday might be.
But wouldn't it be a bad idea though to come here and kind of really analyze the results?
We can take that off. You can take that off.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
All right. So, but let me play the art then.
Bisa dombi lagi Bernard punya ke zaman ini mulai sen aspawa dulu kali lu terkom. Kali lu terkom terus salah. Yo kan mulai wakilan setelah. Kalau mereka yo mulai kali lu terkom lu macam siapa? Sen wakil lala wakil ni boleh punya ke siapa yang reumi Europe atau Amerika. Tanggai mulai jenis siapa pun kredit cash bawa jadi si kali lu terkom. Mana mah? Kanan. Apa boleh banget? Di hewan macam mana itu? Tanggai mulai jenis online shop mana? Kita nak tulin, kita nak pakai, ini macam siap dalam bakal tu. Groceries untuk tali di, kita bisa fikir. Kalau ni, kosong kami ni kami dia kamu pakai video kami macam dengan itu ini rek, dapat kalau kita kam, ni yang ini lah kami bisa fikir. Oh, kami lagi ambil. Boleh tu lagi. Angkat tu kisi pira tu kisi makan sebab apa? Mana nama kau? Kali lu, jabari dale.
Hello, your IGH Wellness Consultants here. We are excited to announce that our online store has gone live at www.igh.gm. We have now created a digital global village. Innovarex products and services are always just a click away from anywhere in the world with payment made easy. With our IGH online store, our valued customers can now go to www.igh.gm and order all their favorite items, ranging from our exclusive quality choice wellness products, brands you can trust, renowned for Gambia by Gambians, FGBE products, IGH Care Plan subscriptions, our COVID supportive care packages, point of care clinical tests, and many other services such as physiotherapy and teletherapy. With our flagship Wellness on Wheels delivery service, all orders made on www.igh.gn are eligible for delivery from Banjul to Bas. Customers in the diaspora can now send quality wellness gifts with no hassle of worrying about safe and secure delivery. Orders over $800 or $60 are eligible for free same-day delivery from Banjul to Brikama. All up-country orders are subject to a flat delivery fee of $500 or $10 and delivered between Thursday and Sunday every week. Innovarex Global Health is always here to provide the wow experience you deserve. Place your order now at www.idh.gn.
Alrighty, so that's it for today, guys.
Banka, all right.
Yeah.
Till next Sunday.
Huh?
Until next Saturday.
Next Saturday, inshallah. Yes.
Alrighty. Pop Samba.
Jerejef,
All right.
guys, then let's go and do this thing. You know, do it peacefully, and hopefully Gambians would vote for the best candidate who will be able to move our country forward. Don't be taken by all this nonsense of flashy cars. You guys don't need to use state resources. There. Vote for the best candidate who would give us the Gambia that we desire. Don't buy it. Whoever lied to you 3 years ago, 5 years ago, please don't vote for them. Anyway, you Fanan Jama, Gerald Jeff.
Why are you're even sounding like you don't even have a candidate in the race? Khalifa Salah not your candidate?
He's my I don't come here. You know, I don't come here trying to promote Doi. I try to be me.
No, for today,
I have my own platform that I use on Thursdays to promote Doi.
No, go ahead. You have the,
Oh no, but Halifa, you know, Halifa would not lie to you. He would never tell you I'm going to be there for 3 years and stay for 5 years. That I'm not going to run and then run again and all that stuff, and then go from rags to riches, Velcro yidi lifin legi fum nekani khaftan yu rey and all that stuff, to the extent of having the audacity to be calling diasporas ni nga xamne ñoo nekk ci diaspora bi diko naka la tura diko criticize people ñi nga they don't even have jobs, and all that nonsense.
Okay.
It's just utter nonsense.
This Saturday we'll be back here on Saturday.
I think it will be a big mistake if you guys vote for a President Barrow and your Mama Kande, all these jokers.
All right.
Anyway, all right, guys.